Welcome to Brava Women Wise Wednesday. Today we've got the great pleasure of having Samantha McFarlane from Sam Says Social. And content marketing and social media management is a vital aspect to any business success. However, it's no surprise that online marketing is often neglected in an environment of competing demands. Sam McFarlane from social media and content management consultancy Sam Says helps busy business entrepreneurs increase their online visibility and brand recognition by taking the overwhelming task of online marketing off their already swamped back. So today we're going to hear from Sam. Over to you, Sam McFarlane.
Thank you, Dia, and thanks everyone for attending today. It's lovely to see all your smiling faces. A lot of you I already know, so as you know, I am a mum of 2 teenagers, which is actually why I started my business, Sam Says, in the first place. So back in 2012, prior to that, I worked in marketing, and prior to that, I studied marketing. So I do love all things marketing, but I've sort of moved into social media back in 2012, and that's sort of where my focus has been since then. So I'm going to jump straight into it because we've only got a short amount of time today. And it's all about creating content that stands out on social media. So we want to be standing out to obviously our ideal customers. So what we need to do is work out which platform our ideal customers are active on, and also which platform we enjoy being on. So you certainly don't need to be across all platforms. I focus on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, probably more than I should, but I do find that for my business, I kind of do need to be across those platforms. I've started to think about TikTok, but I'm just not that sort of video person. So we'll see how we go with that. But really think about who your ideal customer is and where they're spending their time online. And then, choose 1 or 2 social media platforms. But, thinking about which platform you prefer the most as well, because if you actually enjoy showing up on the platform, you'll show up there more frequently. But if you hate it, then you obviously won't. So that's probably the first place I'd start with any sort of social media strategy. And then obviously you want to have a strategy. So obviously we know if we go out for a walk with no plan, or we go out in the car and we just drive around, we're just going to drive around in circles unless we actually know where we're going. So we usually have a map. And this map gives you a direction. And it's going to help you also make sure that you've got a mix of content that's going out across your social media. So you're not just always promoting, or what a lot of women do is they forget to promote themselves. So we sort of want to have a bit of a strategy so we know what we're going to be talking about and when. And that will also help you build that strong organic presence online, because I do sort of tend to focus on the organic side of social media and not as much on the paid side. So the next step, once you know which platform and what the strategy is, then you want to work out what your content themes are. And this can form part of your strategy as well. So thinking about, what it is that you do, what you actually want to be known for, that is really going to help guide you in what you're going to be talking about on social media. So thinking about content pillars that can basically, they can be different topics that you can essentially talk about on social media. So thinking about these things and I guess writing them out in your strategy, then at least when you do get a bit stuck for ideas, you can always revert back to that and think, what did I want to be, what haven't I spoken about recently? Or what do I need to, what trend do I need to jump on? Or what's out in the media that I could sort of a bit of a hot topic that I could also jump on the back of. Sometimes people find having recurring theme content a really helpful way for them to map out their social media. So there's, a few ideas here. We've all seen the motivational or mindful Monday, a tip Tuesday, that could also go to Thursday, a wise wisdom Wednesday, or what's new, throwback Thursday, fun Friday, shout out Saturday, and self-care Sunday. So even though I've got 7 here, I'm not saying that you have to post 7 times a week, but sometimes this type of map or strategy can sort of help you plan out your content as well. So you could pick 2 or 3 of those and then focus on that each week. Still talking about what to post on social media, it is really important, I guess, to let people know what you do, who you work with, and who, you know, your ideal customers are. So you can share this information by sharing case studies or testimonials as well. Sometimes that can be a great way to promote your product or service without really going out there and promoting it, because you're sort of letting someone else talk about how good you are or how great your product is. I think it's also important to have a mix of different content as well. So, you know, blog post content, podcast, videos. I'm not saying that you have to do them all, but, you know, thinking about some different types of content, carousels, stories, you know, static posts, video, that sort of thing. So each different type of content will appeal to a different individual. So if we're having a mix of different content, then we're making sure that we're keeping our options open as far as being able to attract our ideal customers. You can also share any business events or webinars that you're going to. I think one thing to remember on social media is to make sure that you're trying to write as if you're having a conversation with someone, rather than, you know, a broadcast message, which you might have seen in traditional types of marketing like billboards and radio ads and that sort of thing. Social media enables us to have a conversation. So be mindful of that when you're creating your content as well. If you're really stuck for ideas, the number one place to start is to answer all the questions that people ask you all the time, because that's just a way that you can display what you do and how you help. And if you're looking for some extra ideas, then answerthepublic.com is still a great website that you can go to and type in keywords, and then that will bring up the different questions that people are asking on Google as well. Still talking about what to post on social media, you can jump on the back of seasonal content. So, you know, things like International Women's Day, NAIDOC Week, National Coffee Day. There's a different day every day of the year. And you can go and visit daysoftheyear.com to see what's coming up. User-generated content, things like testimonials, that sort of thing. If someone else has tagged you in a post, then you can certainly use that content as well. Sometimes competitions and giveaways can be a good way to get some more exposure to your content as well. And you could potentially go and do some collaborations with some other Brava members. So that's an option as well. Don't forget to use a call to action as well. Sometimes we do just need to let people know what that next step is that we want them to take. And don't be afraid to repurpose. If you've created some great content, you know, 3-6 months ago, there's no reason why you can't bring that back. You don't have to be creating new content all the time. So set some SMART goals for yourself. So, you know, obviously we want to measure with analytics, and we want to adjust as required, and then, you know, rinse and repeat. So we always want to be checking out analytics to see what our audience is telling us. So things that you might want to look at in your analytics are the engagement rate. That's probably the number one thing that I look at, because if people are engaging with your content, it just helps you be seen by more people as well. Reach and impressions is another good thing to look at, as well as follower growth as well. But it's not all about the numbers. You know, having a great, strong following is fantastic, but at the end of the day, there's probably only a certain amount of people that you can potentially work with. So you may not necessarily need to have millions of followers. One thing that I recommend is batching content and then scheduling it ahead of time. This saves so much time, and it also means that you can focus on your day-to-day work rather than having to be thinking about what you're going to be posting on social media. So there's tools like Hootsuite, Buffer, Later. There's many tools out there. These all offer a free plan. But these days, Meta and LinkedIn have scheduling tools within them, even TikTok and Pinterest. So, have a look at that to see if that's an option that you can use as well. And don't forget to engage. It's probably the number one thing that a lot of people do forget on social media. So, actually going, obviously, and responding to any comments on your posts, liking other people's content, commenting on their posts as well, because that's an opportunity for you to be seen by that account, but also by their followers as well, if they're looking in the comments. Don't be afraid to engage in meaningful discussions. You can share other people's content. That can be a great community focused content pillar. Ask open-ended questions as well, and invite your audience to share their thoughts and experiences. Don't forget about hashtags. They are important. They're a great way to be found by your audience as well. So make sure you're sort of mixing up the different hashtags that you're using. And that's my timer. Don't forget to look at ways that you can utilize video as well. Video is still a really powerful form of content that a lot of the different social media platforms are really pushing at the moment. And finally, remember that social media is not a sprint. It's definitely a marathon, and it's all about showing up and being consistent over time, which is really the key to success. Questions? Stephanie.
Okay, Sam, we'll leave it there for now. We'll take the questions offline, but just want to thank you, and we'll drop all your links below so people can reach out